Hello YouTube chess lovers and my friends, this is Gunjan here. Welcome to the third episode of my advanced chess endgame tutorials. In this episode, I'm going to demonstrate one of the important concepts of endgame known as breakthrough. What is breakthrough? Well, breakthrough can be described as sacrificing one or more pawns in order to create pass pawn and win the game. I have carefully selected two complex examples for you which covers the overall aspect of this fundamental. In the first position, you can easily see that it's a pretty much blocked pawn, except there is a major difference that white king is quite active compared to the black. And it seems like in near future, white king is going to munch all of this black pawn. But it's black to move, and amazingly enough, black can win this endgame with the help of breakthrough. Before I show it to you, I want you to pause this video and figure out how black can achieve it. Okay then, are you ready? Congratulations if you find this first critical move, f4. So as you can see, I have highlighted by the arrows, white has three different choices. Neither of them help him to save this game. Let's see each by turn. The first move I want to consider is king captures d5. Well, after that, black response is very obvious. Black is going to play the move f3. So if allowed, then black will capture on g2 and then promote the queen. So white response is pretty much force. White has to capture on f3. But after that, black has this amazing second pawn sacrifice, h4. Threatening h3, promoting the queen. So white is obliged to capture this second pawn again. And now comes the winning blow. Yup, you guessed it. It's g3, threatening queening that pawn again, so white is obliged to capture once again. And after this whole sequence, even though black has the only pawn left on the board, it is the first prize winner for promoting the queen and winning the game. Let's look at the second option. What happens if your opponent continues with g captures f4? Well, I think this is pretty much easy one, as after the move h4, black is indeed threatening the move h3, h2 and h1 queen, which somehow white cannot prevent it. So for example, the baseline goes as follows. White can try to promote his pawn on f-file with the queening, f5, h3, f6, and here after king to d7, it is pretty obvious that black can able to stop the f-pawn rolling, but white king cannot stop the h-pawn. Last but not least, what happens if e captures f4? Well, this time around, pretty much same story. We are going to play the move h4, threatening h3, and when white capture this pawn, we have this star move g3. And it doesn't matter whether white plays f3 or f captures g3, it will clear the path for the e pawn, which will roll down the board with ease and stamp the winning point. Okay, now let's look at the second example where we have pretty much same scenario, except white has two extra pawn on the king side. And once again, I want you to pause this video and find out the winning sequence for the black. Now, before I start, there's a funny story behind this endgame This position actually occurred between Havasi and Paco in Budapest 1976, where black player at this position thinks that, well, white pawns are rolling down on the king side, I don't have much scope, I better resign, and later on comes to know that he missed the force win. So in case in your own game, if you reach similar kind of position, do not give up, but look out for the breakthrough, and you never know, you win in a very critical round. Congratulations if you find the first winning blow, c4. And as it turned out, white has 3 options. Let's see, any of them can help him. The first obvious option I need to consider is d captures c4, which I think it's a pretty easy one, as after the move a4, we are threatening a3, so white is obliged to capture this pawn. Afterwards, we create the clearance path for the d pawn with the move b3, and after pawn captures b3 and d3, white king can never able to stop that pawn. The second move I want to consider is king to g3. Well, after that, if you carefully look at the last example, I don't think so you have any problem to find out this move a4. Threatening a3, white is obliged to capture this pawn, and now comes b3, threatening b captures c2. So once again, white is forced to capture this pawn, but after that, the winning blow, yup, you guessed it, it's a pretty easy, c3, threatening pawn captures b2, and after pawn takes and pawn takes, in all these scenarios, white king is too slow to handle black pass pawn. Probably the most critical line is b captures c4, which creates white's own pass pawn on the c file, and after the obvious response a4, white can go ahead and play the move c5. Black has 2 choices, among them one is right and one is wrong. Kindly pause the video and find out which one is the right choice for you. Well, if you choose the move king to f6, then I'm really sorry, you turn the table and now it is white who is winning this game, as after the move g5, it doesn't matter whatever black plays, it is now white who is in charge of the game. Well, if you take that pawn, then c pawn will be queening, and after the obvious response king to e6, white has this lethal move h6, and after pawn takes and pawn takes, black king can never handle 2 floating pawns at one time. So accordingly here, the right choice is a3. You should not go to king f6, and after the pawn race start with b captures a3, b captures a3, c6, a2, and after c7, a1 promoting queen and c8 promoting queen. Yes, indeed, both the side managed to promote their pawn to the queen, but it is black to move, and the good perspective for the black here is white king is in a very bad position. The simple winning plan for the black is he wants to take g4 with a check, so the queen will be exchanged, and later on black can take the h5 pawn and queen his g pawn. Let's see how we can achieve this. First of all, queen check. If king to h2, then queen to f2, and as I have highlighted by the arrows, black can simply take g4 with a check. So the most critical response over here is king to g3. Afterwards, we can pretty much get the same pattern with queen to f4 check, king to h3, queen to f3 check, king to h2, queen to f2 check, king to h3, queen to h4 check, which force king to go away from the g4 pawn, and after king g2, queen captures g4, white is forced to capture this queen, and after king takes, king to f2 and king captures h5. After all the fireworks, black obtain a passed g-pawn, and even though white has some breakthrough in this position, in all the variations, he cannot survive from this position. That's it guys. I hope you enjoy and learn this wonderful concept of breakthrough which enhance your endgame skill and create a better winning chances if you somehow stumble in this kind of positions. Thank you for watching this video. Feel free to like, subscribe and comment, and I'll meet you in my next episode very soon. Bye and take care.